Darnell with my co-host.
Yes, what up, what up, what up? This your girl Lovely, and I'm from Opinions, etc. Thanks for having me.
We got another hit, another banger, whatever you want to call it. But we're gonna talk about a couple stuff first. But we're gonna really talk about the Tyler Perry movie on Netflix, "A Falling for Grace." It's one that recommend people go watch it. It's a great movie. I'm not gonna tell a lot about it. I'm just gonna do the highlights of it. Probably like when she met old dude, and that's about it. But the crazy part about the movie was the movie told me you can't trust everybody around you, even in your circle. You can't trust people. That's what the movie was really about. It was a good movie. I give it 4.5 star. Uh,
Right,
Cause I watch it a different way than other people. I watch it from the filmmaker point of view. I look at editing, the lights. I look at the acting, how they said. I look at stuff like that. I watch movies totally different from anybody else. But everybody else who not in filmmaking, they watch it. They recommend like 5 star. That was a big 5 star for a Netflix movie I ever seen. I think this is Ty Perry's best work. I'm not talking about when he was acting in it. I'm talking about overall the production of this movie. I heard the movie. I don't know if it's real, but they said the movie was filmed in 5 days.
yeah, I heard.
I talked to one of my film buddies, and that she was like, she needed to do that. I told her to do it. She lived in New York. Um, so with this movie, it was crazy. It talked about human trafficking in this movie. I noticed that. I watched it twice. It talked about human trafficking. Um, it talked about the law, the justice system, how public defenders, uh, always want to do a plea out, and this is true. There are over 2.5 million people lock up. 1 in 10 people do is always innocent, but you don't have the fund to get a lawyer.
Right,
Like he said in the movie, a lawyer is like $10,000. A criminal lawyer to just go to the jail is $3,000, and the average person who don't make 40K a year is not gonna have 30. I don't know nobody have $1,000 left over in a emergency fund, but this movie was good. I'm glad it was on Netflix. Rather than go to the
right.
movies. It was a good movie. I watched it. The first time I wasn't really paying attention. I just people was talking about like let me check it out. I got zoned out. I was watching the game and stuff. So uh, it was a good movie. In my opinion about the movie, I rated it 4 stars. I think everybody should see it. Just be careful who you trust. What's your opinion about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was it really was good. As far as I mean, I'm not no major critic. I like what I like, but it to me it was really good. It was told well. I feel like the twist came, and maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't see it, or maybe if you, I feel like even if you were somebody who kind of got some clues that it could have been going the way it was, but just not to the degree that you saw it.
Yeah, I
Um,
seen it. I seen it. The part I seen was in
yeah,
the courtroom.
right.
No, I take that
Uh,
back. I take that back. It was when the attorney went to talk to her, and she said
mhm,
it was her son, and she went to the house, like, and the body was gone. You know.
mhm.
So, but it really dawned on me when she looked at her necklace at the courtroom. That was
Yeah, that's what got me too. So it was like, wait, what? So, I mean, it had some maybe some things that you might not have picked out right away, or went a way that maybe you wouldn't have saw it going, or even still, like I said, even if you had some clues, I feel like to the degree that it's still twist, nobody really saw that part of it coming to that degree. But um, yeah, I felt like it was really good. But yes, you definitely, like, if you're not, when they go back and she started thinking about it and she was like, huh, and when he was taking pictures of her, stuff like that, I'm not gonna give it away, but then you're like, ooh, like, dang.
yeah.
Like, that's cold, but yeah, you do really have to just be careful, um, and take time to get to know people, and um, they're trying to rush into too many things, and don't allow your emotions to too much to run you. You gotta be logical and think with your head. Uh, but definitely 4 stars. Um, on that. Now, one other thing is like what you'll see is people talk about, and this is like a constant, and like almost everything that Tyler Perry does now is about the hair. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Everybody's like Tyler Perry in these wigs, like that was the
I
part that just got
I
me. And
think
they
he
was like,
should have
no,
just be himself. I didn't think he should have to wear a wig. I think he should have been himself. Then,
him too, and the son.
yeah, and the son,
I mean, well,
and
her husband, and
yeah, that was.
uh, yeah, that
I
was crazy.
I couldn't like it. That was just it was kind of irritating me. I couldn't really watch him when he was popping on screen. I had to look away because it looked so funny. Like, come
Yes, but
on.
it's
When
like
I first seen,
he
it, I
looked
was
like he
like,
came out the
man,
70s or whatever. And it's like, what? This is 2020. Like, why is this
yeah.
his hairstyle right now?
And and she married a dude, and took her identity, and the human traffic part happened at the end of the movie, and I don't know if it probably does happen. I know a lot of older people do get scammed. They more
Hmm.
vulnerable than ever before. They got they retire money, then they got Social Security coming in, so people know they got stuff coming in. But when I look at the movie, it was a good drama movie. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, from the woman that played the lawyer to the main character to she always played good drama parts though. The woman that got conned, she always played good drama part. When you watch the haves and the haves not when she was uh, a housekeeper or I can't remember what she was on, but she was on the haves and the haves not, and she played a good part on that. And she even
Hmm.
even she most lost her house. I think she most lost her house on the TV show. So you know,
Right.
this time usually you could tell when a Tyler Perry movie but how it's going to end, but this time I couldn't
Hmm.
really tell how it was going to end. It took me when I seen Sister Tyson, uh when I seen her, I like, oh, she about to spill everything. I'm like, I knew something was up when
Yeah,
she
she out
was
there by herself. Yeah, it's about to come to an end now. So yeah, that was kind of like a clue um to it too. I think you also, like you said, as far as seeing the criminal justice system and seeing how that really works for people who are not wealthy and for people who do not have the money. A lot of people that's sitting in there just because they didn't have money
and they took a plea
to
deal.
prove their innocence, right? And so they have to just go with the plea deal, try to get, I know I didn't do this, but I'd rather get 10 years as opposed to life for something I didn't do. So they'll plea down, um, and things of that nature. And the public defender's office, and how they are just like she said, I just got this case 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, they
um,
swap.
and I didn't get to really mull it over. So they'll just get cases just like they come in the office and they're throwing a case and they got to be in court that afternoon. And it's like you can't really thoroughly go through a case that you just received and be there and try to fight it that afternoon. So it's you try to they get it, they go talk to you and stuff like that. So that's a sad tragedy, and a real life tragedy that's going on in the world today, that I feel like I'm glad that he was able to touch on and to see that side of it, and how it is about money. We don't have the money to defend. We don't have the money to argue these cases. Um, just plea them down, move on. And that's really sad and unfortunate, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, it's like some public defenders do go to trial, but they don't have enough time or the enough money to to prove some cases. Like she want to hire a blood expert, and they wouldn't give her the option to do that.
Right.
So it's hard for people who's, locked up, and even though they innocent, you hear that like, hey, you could face life if this go to trial. Cause it's harder now to prove to a jury that somebody is not guilty. If all the TV shows is out, you got the Criminal Minds, you got CSI. CSI was the biggest one that came out that messed up a lot of people head about the law. Like it's gonna be
Mhm.
over, it's gonna be quick. They hear the DNA. 9 out of 10, you could put your hand on the surface, it won't leave a fingerprint. And you could be in the
Right.
area, and they're like, well, my cell phone being in this area, and they could use that against you, like they did in the movie.
Mhm.
Your cell phone being off this area, but it's not like the crime happened. It could be, coincidentally that, hey, I was in the area, but I didn't know nothing about it. My phone just went off. We watched
Right.
a lot of, I watched a lot of first 48 hours, and everybody in that box never asks for a lawyer. And the best to lower up when you get into that box, and if you're not guilty, because stuff could be used against you in a court of law.
Right.
You are innocent to proven guilty, but when you are a minority or a low income person, you are guilty till proven
Till you
innocent.
prove you're innocent. Right.
So it's the justice system is sad. I've been want to talk about. I was reading this. I forgot what I was watching. They said 2 million people are locked up. There are out of 1 in 10 people uh uh are innocent. Oh, it's from the
Mhm.
Jamie Foxx new movie show. I think it's Mercy. Uh, I think it's from him. I think
Mhm.
it's from that movie when he was facing death. I haven't seen that movie yet. I'm gonna plan to see it because it do talk about the justice system. And there was a lawyer. He helped white and black. He didn't only help black people. He helped white and
Mhm.
black because I didn't know it was 2 million people locked up. I didn't know it was uh 1 in 10 people are innocent in the court in the prison. You know,
Right. That's crazy.
so there are times people go to jail, they take this plea deal, plead out, so we can hurry up and go.
Yeah.
The movie, it was a high case. I didn't understand why they want to plead it out. It was a high case murder without a body with just blood. It was circumstantial evidence. She should have been, she should have waited till she was proven guilty in a court of law, but she was she thought she killed somebody because she hit the dude in the head with a bat. When I was watching, I thought the dude was dead. The more I watched it,
Right.
the body was gone. And the lawyer, she was about to walk off, but her husband or boyfriend, the police officer, he motivated her. He stayed with her, even though she was not that person take that negative talk or that tough love. She couldn't take that tough love from anybody. Even her boss was trying to tell her the truth. Like, hey, you gotta look at it this way, not that way. You know,
Mhm.
and she was getting upset then when her husband, boyfriend, whatever, was telling her he's not taking his side. He was taking her side, but he want her to understand, hey, uh, he was right. There's a lot of people are right, but that don't mean you have to take. I'm not taking somebody's side. When you say somebody right, people always automatic like, oh, you taking that person's side. So when you look at the justice system and you look at another case, Casey Anthony, who murdered her daughter, was found not guilty. I don't know. You remember
Mhm.
that person? Uh, she
Yeah, I
was
remember that case.
she was found not guilty because the lawyer she had, they had a body. They couldn't tell how she died. And what get me about this case, this one pissed me off because I knew she was guilty. The car was
Mhm.
missing. It had a dead body odor in the car, and she was she was found. She should have been found guilty. All the evidence pointed against her. Then her
Mhm.
mom and dad had her support her. Of course, they're gonna support her, but you gotta draw a line. She did kill your granddaughter.
Right.
And in Florida, people do walk away. In Florida, like George Zimmerman, we all knew that dude was guilty, but I already knew he was not gonna be found now guilty because how the media made into a circus. The media made into the circus. We could go all the way back to OJ. When it's a uh, high stake case like the OJ Simpson. You know, I don't believe he did it. I believe that he knew who did it. People said it
Mm-hmm.
was his son that did it. I kind of lean on that theory, but that's a whole different episode on that. But when you look at the justice system, period, and people are scared to get locked up. It's a fear because if you get locked up, when you poor or you don't have enough money to for an attorney, you're gonna more likely take the plea deal. There's a lot of people take the plea deal. A public defender are designed for us to take the plea deal. I've been to a murder trial where the public defender, they was good, but they still lost the case, even though the evidence and everything was stacked against her on this murder trial. Not the movie, but this person I know in real life, it was stacked against her. So when
Right.
she killed her mother and she lied that somebody broke in a house, but it was impossible because the screen door was locked and the bars was on the house, and no killer would ever lock the door behind them. She said
Right.
she beat the person up, which she did beat somebody up in that room with a hammer, and she strangled the woman with a stitch with uh, a phone line, a phone cord. This was her own mother. She killed her own mother over money. And when I heard about the trial, the public defender had me believe, if I was a jury, the public defender had me believing she was about to get off
Mm-hmm.
because they did bring up some good points. They did because some of the witness they did was veering off. But the state came back and at the close of the argument. Even on the movie, the close of argument is one of the important things that she should have. She should have. She should have. When her friend told her, yeah, she told me she killed somebody. She should have cross-examined her again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean by she told you? Was she in her right mind, or did she thought she killed somebody? I think she said she thinks she killed him. Uh, but when you look at the movie and you look at the justice system, it's a clear picture of how this stuff is really are in the justice system. Even with minorities, we don't have a good chance because it's not designed for us. And you see a lot of white people get off, like that teenager, that white teenager that raped that girl. Uh, Only got like 3 months. And remember, we did a episode where the dude, I think they was in Missouri, and he kissed the girl, and he got 12 years. And we haven't heard no more updates after his case. You know,
Right.
and he still was facing 12 years for kissing.
Mm-hmm.
And the evidence was like prove that he didn't rape her, but we heard what the judge said. We read it. We went over. We read everything before we really prepare ourselves for that episode where the judge like somebody kissed you. Yes, it's considered rape. That was all. That made me want to be a
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, but you
Right.
know.
Totally.
It was crazy how this movie is, and I was looking at it a different way. I was looking from the justice point of view, like when he said, "Well, take the plea." The prosecutor, the DEA office, the mayor is on him. Hey, why you still haven't got that paper signed?
Right.
Even though the evidence was not even against her. It was no fingerprints. It was nothing. They didn't take no pictures of her. It was nothing. Even though they shot this movie in 5 days, I didn't even know they shot this movie in 5 days. To tell you the truth,
Right.
I didn't even know. Like they must did like 12 hours, 15 hours shooting. But that's all I got to say about the movie and the justice system. So,
Yeah. I mean, like again, we know that the justice system is flawed, and we also know that it's biased, um,
Very biased.
and very biased, and that's not even just race. As far as race, that's also class. It's classist. It's racist. It's colorist. Like the justice system is definitely against any and everyone that is not white, and that's just factual. But just to see, like I said, it was pretty good to see him bring light to that. Because I'm pretty sure there are tons of people in many communities who can relate to that aspect of it right there. But I think it was really good. He touched on a lot of stuff in that movie when you think about it, um, and to cover like so many things, but still to still tell this one story,
Yes.
um, I think was amazing uh, in direction and as far as the movie goes. So kudos to Tyler Perry
Yeah.
and great job to Netflix
Netflix did this
on that
one.
aspect.
Netflix,
Yeah,
cause Netflix is competing with everybody.
yeah.
you got Disney Plus now. You got Hulu. There's so
Mhm.
many stream service right now. It's just I got Disney Plus for free because I got Verizon. So
Right.
I got Netflix. I only pay $8 a month. I don't need two TVs. I don't need. I was
Mhm.
paying for everybody.
Right.
It's just it's it's so hard to find a good program. It's on Hulu. This Hulu got a good movie. I'm like, man, I might as well just get the Fire Stick and get it because it'd be a lot of movie on there. But this movie, like you said, touched on a lot of issue like marriage, trust, how she got her trust back with the dude, falling in love again. She fell for this person. He conned her, uh, manipulate her. Her best friend was in it. This was her best friend. This was her homie.
Mhm.
Human trafficking at the end, people scheming on the elders. It was just the justice system all in one movie in a shorter time, and you can sit there and watch this movie over and over. It's a good movie. It's gonna be a classic movie. I think this should be an educated movie for the justice system. Period. You look
Right.
at it, and what I hate about it is this stuff happens for real. This stuff is
Right.
real. There's a lot of people in jail are innocent, and they trying to plead their case, but they can't because they can't afford it. It's crazy. The health care is too high. The justice system is too high. Only people really get off is the politics and billionaires. You
Right. Yeah.
know, you could go ahead.
I mean, I think with everything that you're stating, just one more thing um as far as the criminal justice system goes, like just to throw opinion out there, like as far as someone having someone's life hang in a balance, it shouldn't be about money, and it shouldn't, and yes, we know money runs the world,
Yes.
but it shouldn't come down to those things. It should come down to the livelihood of this person, or the fact that this person, if we don't fight and argue and give this case our full attention and our the full power of the law behind it, you could be putting an innocent life in jail, and that should be something that's really important, and not uh like I said, not the money thing, but of course we know that it's also a money thing when they get in there. It's they get money for bodies. So it's the fact that it's bad on both sides. Like if there was no financial gain for having prisoners in jail, then it wouldn't be this big of a deal.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be so hardcore trying to fight and make sure to push down and to just get people in jail regardless if they're innocent, guilty, or whatever. Um, if it wasn't such a moneymaker. But because people have money to gain from that, of course they're going to push for that. Of course there's going to be people who are buying for you to put more people here. Like it's like a business. So it's like if you have a restaurant and you don't get nobody in the seats, you're not getting no money. So it's like we got to find ways to get people in here. We got to advertise. We got to do specials. We got to do great customer service, like all this stuff to get people to come in so that they can put money in our pockets. So that's the same thing. We got to get more criminals in here. Go get them off the streets. Go do this. Go do this. Be under, and that in itself, not saying it's right, but I can understand to a degree them being under pressure to want to get people in jail. That's why you get people um with the whole end of the month quota thing with tickets and stuff, and
Of
that's why they go
course.
crazy for that, because they got this quota to meet.
Yeah. The
And
first quarter
that's why they
too.
go crazy just rounding up people, and they do warrant roundups, and like there shouldn't be nothing like that. If you don't get these people, then you don't get them till you get them. Like there shouldn't be no like warrant roundup. Let's go to these people's houses, just go get them all and bring them all to jail, and or um or setting up those seatbelt trap, not traps, but they set up those seatbelt places where they stop it to see if everybody else seatbelts, but while they checking, they also checking your name and just trying to find ways. They trying to get creative. So it's the same thing. Like, hey, we got to get out there. We got to get the people in here. So they're just getting creative and finding ways to get the people. If you're not getting enough people by stopping them legally, um, just by catching them speeding or a tail light out or something like that, then you got to get creative. Okay, well, we got to stop more people so we can run more people because they out here, So it's really just bad all around, and there just needs to be a lot of change that happens from the inside out. But that's really just the driving force behind it, and that's the part that's the most unfortunate.
Yeah, so it's like going off what you said. I know, like a few years ago here in Indianapolis, they had like a blitz going on in no low income area on the east side in Indianapolis. Like they had the state troopers, they had the city police, they had the sheriff out here. They had undercover FBI out here pulling people over left and right. Even when you had a stop at a stoplight, they was just pulling people over. It was just very lawful. They they did that on it was a couple people went to jail because they had warrants, but they said they wanted to
Mm-hmm.
fight crime. But only way you gonna fight poverty, only way you gonna fight crime in low income areas is poverty. Once you fix this poverty is never gonna be fixed because it's a rich man game. you know the
Mm-hmm.
United States could have been got rid of poverty, and so there's poverty around the world. But we gotta we gotta educate ourselves about the law. You gotta get this book called the Black Dictionary. It's a law book what the lawyers read.
Mm-hmm.
Get you is a small version of the book that I got, and it talk about all the cases that went on from the verses this Alabama versus this, Alabama versus that, blah blah blah, Indiana versus this, or Kelly versus Indiana. It got stuff like that, Illinois versus blah blah blah, and how the law got into state. It's come down to the politicians that we put in office. We people they
Mm-hmm.
always want us to look at the president, vote for the president, but we need to look closer to the people that we put into these lawmaker positions because they do control it because that's how it works. And it come
Right.
down to a very local. Uh, we gotta educate ourselves about business. We gotta educate ourselves about the law because if you don't educate yourself about the law, there's a lot of brothers and sisters go into the court, go into the jail, and they go into the library and read. They read about their
Right.
case. They read how they could turn their case over. It's like this one dude was charged with murder. He didn't even have a lawyer, and he was acquitted on all charges. He was found not guilty on all charges. You gotta
Right.
be good too with it. You gotta talk like they talk. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about like white talk. You gotta talk popular. You gotta talk. You gotta understand the language. That's why they got books out here. It's the knowledge is out here, believe it or not. We gotta hurry up and get these books before they burn them and put them digital, because one day the internet can just shut down like that, and we ain't gonna have no knowledge. People always Google stuff. You can't Google stuff no more because if you look at people pay for the top page for $5, you could be on the you could say something, you could make it seem real because somebody click on it, but you could pay $5 to say something like, "Hey, this is real," which it can't be. But people don't do that research. I got a book called
Mm-hmm.
the Black Law Dictionary. There's another one called Black Dictionary. These are good books to have. Even if you're not going to be a lawyer, read these books. These books will help you in a traffic case. We will deal with get pulled over by the cops and how to talk to the cops and what words to use. There's all kind of words to use when you talk to police officers. And the key is
Right.
try to maintain your cool. Cause once they feel like they threatened, they can just say, "Hey, I fear for my life." They can
Mhm.
say their favorite word. That's they take it out. I fear for my life. We see it with the Mike
Mhm.
Brown case. We see it with a lot of cases. We see it with a lot, Sarah Berlin. We see with the dude, uh, the dude who had a gun permit. He was shot in a car with his wife. I mean his girlfriend, multiple
Philip
times.
Castile.
Yeah, he was shot multiple
Yeah.
times. The woman in Texas from
Mhm.
Illinois, Sarah Berlin, Sarah, you know,
San. What was her name?
I can't say.
Sandra Bland.
Yeah, and she was killed in a. I was watching a conspiracy theory on it, and she was killed in a jail cell, and she was fighting for black freedom. She just, going to Texas, and when if she would have talked to the cop different, would she still be alive? We do not know. That cop was
Right.
already irritated when he pulled her over. He didn't say, "Ma'am." He was already yelling at her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
he didn't go to the car be all calm. So it worked both ways. When somebody start yelling at you, you feel that you got to yell at them, and that's human nature to us. Somebody yell at me. I got into it with plenty of cops. A cop, I had to go to the hospital because he put my arm out of my socket. I tried to talk
Mhm.
to him calm. He thought I was 16. His excuse, because this time I was living with my mom. I moved to Indianapolis. I was 21 years old. And his excuse was, I thought he was 16. That's why we messed with him. That's what they told my
Oh
mom.
no.
Like, she was like, "That's don't give y'all an excuse to mess with nobody." This happened. They put my mom in handcuffs. Neighbors was coming out their house because they like, "Oh, he's the wrong person. Y'all got the wrong person. He don't do nothing." And I was walking around. The cop was walking around the apartment complex. I was walking around. He's like, I was following him. And, I was on the phone talking to a chick. He said I was talking to somebody, telling him where his location was. I didn't even know what was going on. And he was like, "You been shocked?" He raised up my shirt, and I was like, "No." The stuff I would have knew now, I would have just remained silent. Because he was telling me to shut up. He was like, "I beat your ass. I drop you on this concrete in front of everybody." He had my arm the
Mm.
whole time, and he was asking me questions. Every time I said something, he was telling me shut up. And he says he called backup, and a gang of cops came. A gang of
Right.
cops came because he said he was fearing for his life because all the neighbors came out. My mom pulled up. My sister and them was there. You know, everybody came out. I was
Right.
on the phone minding my business. And white people like, well, if you would have mind your own business, you want. I was minding my own business. We hear in the comments like, oh, he should have listened. I was listening. He told me to come here. If I would have knew, I would just sit on my patio and just stay
Right.
right there or just win a house. What I know
Right.
now is like say a few words. He grabbed me, so I pulled back. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, come on, we both
Yeah.
could talk. He got right in my face, and he started cussing me out for no reason. And he was telling the other cops, "Oh, he was following me." I was not following the cop. I was just walking around. He was just walking around. It's an apartment complex where I walk around. I do my walk around apartment complex all the time when I was there. I used to just bounce the basketball around, staying in shape, whatever. And this was a year after I got out of high school. I didn't know where I was going to
Mm.
do, what I was going to do, whatever, So I was, moved to Indianapolis from Fort Wayne. So, you know, I got into it with the cops again. We was over at my friend's house. I didn't know a dude ran into the house. This was a big house. This ain't no little house where you seen somebody come in. I was already in the kitchen talking to my mom friend on the phone, seeing how she been. So we hearing banging. They can't come in without a warrant. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Whatever. Fast forward, we went outside. It was a short cut.
Mm.
Short cops are the worst. I don't care what nobody say. Short cops, black or white, short cops, short men are the worst. When you taller than, I'm 5'11", so he was short because he's mad already, and
Right.
so they had guns pointed at us. They didn't have like handguns. They had like M16s and shotguns pointed at us, and more
Wow.
cops was coming. So I'm talking. I was deep in church. I want to be a pastor, a preacher, whatever. I had my Bible in my hand. I'm like, man, y'all cannot do this to us. The cop was like, just shut up and put you in. No, I ain't gonna shut up because he told me to shut up. So I kept messing with him. He was like standing. He threw my Bible on the ground, and so I like, man, you can't throw the word down. And he put me in handcuffs. He took me away from the crowd, whatever. He put me on the corner, and I called my dad, and I was like, man, I'm finna go to jail. And he was like, I didn't have my ID on me. I was in I was in college at the time. I was at Lincoln Tech. I was in my college
Mm-hmm.
uniform. He was like, anybody in this house? I was like, no, nobody is not in the house. This is my first time over here. It was my first time over here, and the other dude who I was with, they put him in here because they was finna tase him first. They was just finna lock him up because we was like, man, we was minding our own business. We didn't do nothing
Mm-hmm.
to nobody. And you hear if you read the comments when a black person get killed or a Mexican get killed or dealt with the cops, oh, they should have mind their business. They should obey. When you can obey and get killed. You can have a license for a gun and get killed. You could just have a tail light out, get killed. You could like sell cigarettes and get killed. You can walk down the street in the middle of you could jaywalk and get killed. You could play with a BB gun and get killed. So when we look at the justice system, it is not in our favor at all when we see the cops. It's never in our favor. I have a son and I worry about him all the time. You know, I worry about
Mm-hmm.
my sisters and brothers, even though women really do not get messed with by cops, but I still worry about them.
Right.
And what we need, what we need in our community, we need the cops that from our community to work in our community. And of course, they could put black
Mm-hmm.
cops in our community, but they might not be from this community. They might grew up in the suburbs all their life, and they never understand how people live this way or talk this way, or fear the cops. You got this non-snitching rule because everybody fearing everybody. You talk to the cops. If you don't talk to the cops right, you get killed. If somebody in the street see you, you could get killed. So it's like I forgot who say this. If the murder don't kill you, the cops will kill you. We deal with this
Right.
on a daily basis. It's like when I get pulled over, the cops are like, "Why are you shaking?" My hands shake. Then when I get real nervous, my hands shake even more. So I'm already nervous when I get pulled over because how I was dealt with cops ever since I was in high school. They mess with me. They pick with me. Every time I get pulled over, they want to search my vehicle. Every car I had, it didn't matter what car I had, they want to search my vehicle. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't do drugs. Like every cop stopped me like I'm a drug dealer. I can have when I was in my luxury car, I had a luxury car. He thought I was a drug dealer. I'm a truck driver. It's like when you
Mm-hmm.
black, even other black people like, oh, you sell drugs. It's like we don't think like, hey, he could own a business. Like, oh, he could have been doing YouTube. Like, we don't think that way. So we are worst enemy too when it comes to the justice system. We have two sides of the coin when we go to the justice system. Us being black, we only got one side that's guilty to proven innocent. Not innocent to proven guilty. It don't work for us. I think more black people should be cops and be judges and be lawyers. I think it should be more sons in the DEA office and the prosecutor office that come from our neighborhood. But it's not appealing to a lot of kids that in college. That's the problem. In high school, that's the problem. It's not appealing. We hear these lawyers and we hear these lawyers release. I don't know if Facebook took that one video down where them two lawyers like if you ever get caught with something or you even if you're guilty, always ask for a lawyer. If you're not guilty, always ask for a lawyer. Cause it might be something very simple that the cop could get in trouble for. The cop, you be released. You know what I mean? So it's like what the movie is. That lawyer, she tried her best. At first, she was going to give up on her, and she just seen it
Mhm.
like she seen the innocent in this woman's face. Even though it was a movie, it seemed so real. Like this stuff happens for real. Like we see it all the time. We hear on the news a person got released from jail after 20, 40 years, a crime they did not commit.
Mhm.
We see this all the time. And being in, I've never been locked up. I've been in handcuffs. I never been locked up. I visited jail. I never been locked up, but I do not want to be locked up. It's one of my biggest fears. 'Cause I don't know how I'm gonna react in jail. I'm already skinny, so I don't already know how I'm gonna react in jail. Especially when you're depressed or you have mental illness. It's just like um Harness. You said you haven't watched the Netflix on his special where Inside Killer. He's a tight end. He used to be the tight end for the New England Patriots, won the Super Bowl champ. He killed three people. You know, uh, Aaron Horace. He killed three people. His girlfriend Shannon Jenkins. She was very loyal. I mean, if you watch the documentary on Netflix, and they was like, "Do you see a gun?" She was like, "I don't know." Uh, he's zooming in, and it was like
Mhm.
we knew it was a gun. Like you could tell it was a gun, but she sure ain't know what be used against her in the court of law. And he killed three people. The reason they say he killed himself was because he was gay. In his suicide note, he killed himself uh, because he wanted his daughter to be rich because he knew he was gonna be found guilty on the case that he was already trial for was found not guilty. The first trial he was found guilty. The second trial he was found not guilty because somebody poured some drinks on him. His girlfriend, his cousin was so loyal to him. Her she had cancer. She went to jail for him. His cousin did. If you watch the documentary, it's a good documentary. Some stuff I do not agree with. I don't think he was gay. I don't know. It's just like when a mental person kill themselves. When a man kill himself, oh, he's gay. It's like, I have a friend that killed himself, and the rumors was like, oh, he was gay. That was not true. I don't think somebody will kill themselves because they was gay. It's a mental problem when somebody take their life. It's a mental problem. If anybody has suicide thoughts before, I had suicide thoughts before. It's just like the walls is closing into you. You just want to give up, and just like nobody don't love you, nobody don't want you around. You feel isolated. Even though you got family around you, you still feel isolated. That's what depression do to you. If you when you in your black in a black phase of your life, is the worst part. And I think he killed himself because he got hit in the head too many times, and it was proven. These football players take hits in the head all the time. They put a good show on us every Sunday and every Saturday. High school kids do it Friday, middle kids do it Thursday, and they put a show on us every day, and they get hit in the head. The justice system. The first lawyers, they was okay. The second trial he went on, he had Casey Anthony, attorney, who got him off. He never deal with big big stuff to Casey Anthony. You know what I mean? So when you look at these cases and you look at the reason why lawyers cost so much because they can hire experts. The public defender, the city ain't gonna have that much in their budget. All their money go to the state and to they expert. I've been to murder trials. I've been to robbery trials. I've been to where they had all these experts come on stage. The state have more experts than the uh, public defenders do. You know what I mean? Because the money is not given to them. You know, when people are charged with murder, everybody in their head, oh, he's automatic, guilty. That's what they put in the
Mhm.
jury head. I never been on the jury. I was supposed to go to the jury. They canceled it. I don't know if I could be on the murder trial jury because if I say he's not guilty and he turned around and be guilty, I will feel bad. You know what I mean? Like they paint a good picture, but you know the DNA is not 100%. Is if you ever go on YouTube and you do research on DNA, it's not 100%. You know, it's easy to fail a DNA test or match a DNA test. It's easy to fail a drug test. I failed a drug test, and I didn't even do drugs at all. I didn't do weed. It said I had cocaine in my system. It said I had X in my system. It said I had weed in my system. And everybody was looking at me. This was my first time taking the drug test. It was have a swab in my mouth, and I was like, I never did cocaine. I don't even know what crack smelled like. You know what I mean? So when you see all this stuff in the justice system, it is so sad, and we see it how the rape victim is treated. You know, like that white dude who got caught raping the woman. The reason he got off because the judge feel that all this mess up his career, his life, but it won't mess up this woman's life. This woman's life is already messed up. Her innocence already taken. And that would really piss me off about that judge. He was caught raping a woman, and he was found guilty, but the judge overturned it. So we got to replace the justice system